Wow, Patrick, you're back on that going live before you even start up your virtual webcam thing again. Yeah. I guess I am. Today, I want to make a magician of a certain place. Bottom of the deck festival, culture, food, and music, celebration of community. Cute. Excuse me. I'm holding it up to the camera like y'all can actually see me. There we go. Festival, bottom of the deck. Ooh, this is a little low. Or close or something. I don't know. She's feeling like mucho close today. Or muy close, I guess. What is close? I know cerca. Muy cerca. Anyway. The kitchen. I saw the kitchen, I think at the bottom of the deck. It said home of alchemy, harnessing your creativity or something like that. The home and the road, a road home. Anyway, I had a weird dream last night. I had a dream. I had a dream within a dream. And then when I woke up, well, I had a dream. And then it's even hard to explain. I had a dream within a dream. Um, and then I was like out doing something. And there was somebody who was going to take somebody else to a facility. And I was like, oh, like, don't do it because I had a dream that, like, I was like, if you do this, if you take that person there, then, like, you're going to be the reason why that person, like, dies or something. And they were like, what are you talking about? And I was like, I had a dream. And I feel like the first dream I had, I kept referencing that dream. I feel like I referenced it a few times. Like, I had a dream about this. I had a dream about this. And so the person went there anyway. And it didn't turn out the way that I thought in the dream. It was like it ended up being some like super soldier type something, maybe not a soldier. It was some kind of like research facility. Um, and at the time when I first met the person, anyway, so I told the person there was, I think, somebody in a wheelchair. And then there was a female doctor lady who was the researcher, I guess. And she was like, she did the research on the person that was brought, but then she turned to the person that took the other person, and she was basically like, "You're obsolete," and she tried to kill him. But then he had like dispatched her, but then she had like stabbed him in his side or something. And so he ended up dying and she survived and she told people, she spun the story in a certain type of way that, of course, made her the victim. Um, and I was like, whoa. And then it was like several, like a millennia later, to the point where this place was in like ruins, like it was a ruined temple or whatever. And I had gone there. I feel like I was invited there by somebody in the dream. They were like, "Oh, we're gonna go to this place," and I was like, "Okay." Um, and I go there, and I'm like starting to have like memories of like when it was the facility or whatever. And I look, it was almost like a pyramid type thing, but like not a full pyramid. It's like the bottom quarter of a pyramid, but then it was just like flat. Um, so not quite like a ziggurat because it was more pyramidal than a ziggurat. But anyway, I look down and in the ground, like I see this person. I'm like, whoa. And then I went down there and the person was still alive. Um, and I was like, we were walking or whatever. And I was like, how are you walking? Like, you were supposed to be in like a wheelchair or something. Whatever the research was, that's why, like, that's probably why that person took the other person who was in a wheelchair. Because, like, when I first saw that person, of course, I was just like, don't do this. But I didn't know that that person used to be wheelchair bound until I found them in the future. And then I was like, oh, the experiment must have worked. And that's the reason why you can do whatever. And he was like, I was like, you got to go into hiding. She survived. And she ended up telling everybody this whole, like, she ended up fabricating this whole story. I don't know. Like I said, it was a weird dream. What did I played Dragon Age Velguard yesterday, and I watched an episode of an anime. The car, Urban Explorer, driving your own path, but nothing that was related to like any of that. So I'm just like I said, it was a weird dream. The casino and social media. Media. Let's see. The park and social media. Cool. So I'm, oh gosh, if these would shuffle. The places, there we go. We're not wanting to shuffle. I'm gonna get a place first. And then to get them, like, we're gonna build the magician. Meaning, I'm gonna shuffle this deck and pull cards until we get one of every element, and then we'll see. Right. Excuse me. Excuse me. I feel like after I finished the last video, the one with the thumbnail where I just like put all the pictures together in like no particular order and then like crudely erased like layers to, I was just like, let's just put them all on here. Maybe one day I'll care enough to do, that's just like not my passion, you know? Six of Cups still at the bottom of the deck. Interesting. With the Queen of Cups in reverse. Interesting. I feel like I want to put these cards all upright, but they end up like shifting anyway. The Six of Cups on its side is an incomplete recollection of something. The incomplete recollection of something affects our ability to either connect to something in some way or to perceive of things in a certain way. But it's interesting because this is just like a little bit off. Even if things are like a little bit off, like completely whatever. Anyway, that's what I'm going to do. And I'm going to get the place first. I was going to do the place after. Ooh, the theater. Venue of storytelling. Let the story unfold. Okay. So I want a clean flip or a clean fall, preferably one card. If it's multiple cards, like if it makes sense, that would be super cool. Very cute. Tray. Way too many cards. Clean fall of 6 cards, including the title card. So I'm going to read the places. We have the bakery, the forest, the restaurant, the post office, the laundromat, and the garden. So it was 7 cards. Bakery, pastry haven, fresh and sweet treats. Forest, nature's playground, escape the mundane. Restaurant, chef's culinary delights. Savor each bite. post office, mail services, messages to arrive, laundromat, local cleaning area, necessary routine, and garden, botanical treasures, artfully arranged. And then the title card. I don't think I've ever read the back of this. Cool. All right. Bottom of the deck is the cemetery. Memories laid to rest, legacies preserved. Wow. Cool. Yeah, I took my hair down today too because it was just time, you know. She did her best. If there's one thing that she did her best is excellent at, maybe the best at, it is tying those little black rubber bands. Ooh, it was a challenge. Ooh, so this is the card that I saw when I was like going through the deck, and I was like, spiritual realm at the cut with the bakery. Spiritual realm, dimensions of the divine, cosmic energy unveiled. Ooh, ooh, ooh. With the sweet treats of the bakery. Fresh and sweet treats. Love it. Love that energy. I was like, what? Soul Star didn't put a what in here? Soul Star magic. Okay. All right. Clean flip, clean fall. Thank you. Ooh, another card we haven't seen yet. I think it's a few of them though. It's 3 cards. Am I taking these? Village, karaoke, and airport. Village, close-knit community, engage meaningfully. Meaningful engagements. Karaoke, open stage, melodies for expression. And airport, departures and arrivals, adventures await. I mean, the story here is like there's an energy that's like departing the village, right? And it feels like karaoke is the best way that they can communicate their desires or their reasoning for leaving. Through like song and stuff. And it's also like fun, you know? Bottom of the deck is the restaurant. Chef's culinary delight. Savor each bite. I'm watching this anime, and there are a lot of like goodbyes in that anime. There's a lot of like, there's this, you could call him a traveler. Why not? Um, and he meets people, has these like profound relationships, and then he leaves. And they're like, everyone's like, won't you stay? Like, why are you leaving? And blah, blah, blah. But also, everyone understands. I don't know. Let's see. That's not feeling concise enough. Yeah, no. No. I guess we're going to get one card. If multiple cards come out, then I guess we'll build multiple magicians. And in building multiple magicians, we'll do them one by one. Ooh, the volcano. Another card we haven't seen yet. Nature's furnace, creation and destruction. Interesting. Cool. All right. Clean flip, clean fall. Oops. And we're gonna keep going. Should we build the magician first? I mean, that was my initial thought. I'll give it 2 more shuffles. Yep, I guess we're gonna build the magician first. The volcano at the bottom of the deck. All that shuffling I did in the volcano. Temperance and the Wheel of Fortune. Temperance in reverse, the Wheel of Fortune on its side. This is interesting. This is something that is almost at something that is perfectly like balanced. And if the scale tips either way, then things will progress in that direction. Excuse me. All right. What I'm gonna do is I'm shuffling this 2 more times. Anything, well, and then I'm gonna cut it and I'm gonna pull right off the top. Again, we're going until we get all the elements to create our magician. I was gonna say magician, but then my brain was like musician. And then it took a second to reconcile. Because then I was like, magician. I was like thinking magician under the definition of musician. And I was like, that's not right. First card out is the magician. So I did have a thing where if the world, the Wheel of Fortune, any card that depicts all 4 elements or multiple elements would be like every element depicted would be considered. Um, there's like literally nowhere to go because the magician was the card at the top of the deck, which is like, yay, I guess we're in alignment with what I was wanting to do. But it provides no anything for anything. And the bottom of the deck is the hangman in reverse. Cool. All right. Well, the magician of, I think this is 2 cards. Oh, it's 1 card. The fire station. Fire station, city's first responders, readiness to respond. Well, I guess that makes sense. If we're building magicians, if we're creating magicians, or, you know, why is this? There we go. I was like, I feel so to the right, too far off center. If we're building magicians or assembling magicians or whatever, it makes sense that a pre-assembled, pre-complete magician would be a first responder because it's already ready. So the magicians that be first responders to, I think it's going to be different for different people because the hangman upright is the one that waits. So this, it would be like the magician that's waiting for its moment, or it's the first responder that's on call that's waiting for an emergency to address, to respond to. With the hangman in reverse, it's like it's time, or there could almost be something that this magician sees or has been alerted to before the masses. It's almost giving like guardian angel type energy in the way that like we could be protected from things that we don't even know that we're being protected by because the process is halted so early, right? So she's almost giving it's because of the magician first responder energy that some are able to live in like a blissful ignorance I mean blissful is relative. Um but it's like you wouldn't even know. It's like if the fire station had a predictive system. The magician here would be the magician here works for a fire station that has like a predictive system rather than waiting for someone to call in a fire. It's like they know where the fire is going to start before it even starts. So as soon as something like catches fire, they're there to put it out. Or it's like, I think there was a video, or I would just hear stories about the halogen lamps. I don't have my phone. That would get like really hot and like a blanket or a curtain or something that like ended up in a halogen lamp and it caught fire and then a whole room was on fire. So like this first responder magician would move the curtain from the halogen lamp to like prevent it. But the prevention of this magician, like if this magician wouldn't have interfered, a fire would have happened. It's not it's more than just like what is likely to happen. It's like it would have happened if that magician didn't move the curtain. Or it's like, the curtain is on there, the cover is on there. And as it's like heating up, they remove it. Right. If left unattended, it would have precipitated a whatever. Now, what's interesting about this is that we've seen so many towers that were like pre-evacuated. Also, it wasn't until I finished the last reading where I was like, is Virgo the villain? Where afterwards I was like, well, what does Virgo symbolize? Mutable Earth. And I was like, oh, okay, well, then that makes a lot more sense, right? Changes on the Earth. Um, Maybe it's a change in the positioning of Earth, where the sun is versus where the sun was, and our cosmic background in the night sky. Like I've seen it on Dr. Stone, how after like 3,000 years, stuff in the night sky has shifted. Um, Also, like with the fixed stars, I know Russ has talked about how they've all like switched signs basically. And the last one we saw was, or that came up was Regulus that was in Virgo. Yeah, because I was like, Virgo stole the star. And it was like, how Regulus is in Virgo now. Um, it also reminds me of, I forget the constellation, but it's Akamar and Akranar that usually come up in the Lafroma Wickacraft and Wackend, maybe, about how it was like there was this like I think Akamar. One of the stars was the southernmost star in that constellation until it was observed from a different place on Earth. They could see that the southernmost star in that constellation was actually a different star. And so you could say the mutable earth of like depending of the mutable earth in terms of like depending on where we are on earth, our view, our vantage point, our perspective will change. Like mutability literally related to earth. It could be a change of seasons or whatever. Um, Time or location. Excuse me. And that southernmost star did Eridanus. That's the constellation because it's the one that Phaeton fell into Eridanus. Maybe, yep, Eridanus constellation which stretches along the southern celestial hemisphere. It is represented as a river, and we've been seeing so much about rivers. Where's the disambiguation? It's the sixth largest of the modern constellations. The same name was later taken as a Latin name for the real Po River and also for the name of a minor river in Athens. At its southern end is the magnitude 0.5 star Achernar, designated Alpha Eridani. And then, what does that even mean? It says, whose traditional name means the river's end. Achernar is a very peculiar star because it's one of the flattest stars known. It's Phoenix is also in this constellation. I didn't know that. I think I knew that Ketis was in this constellation. Hold up. No, bordering constellations. Okay, so it borders. Achernar is also the brightest star in the constellation. The southernmost star is the brightest. Borders Taurus, Orion, Chilum, Horologium, Hydrus, Phoenix, Fornax, Ketis, Orcetus. Where is Acamar? Here we go. Theta Eridani, called Acamar, is a binary star with blue-white components distinguishable in small amateur telescopes, 161 light years from Earth. And that one used to be the southernmost star. Cool. Anyway, didn't necessarily plan to go all the way there, but yeah. Okay, well, we have our first responder magician. The magicians that preempt. All right, let's build another one because that one was too short. There's the Six of Cups again with the Ten of Wands. Interesting. It's time to look. My whiskers are going like everywhere. I feel like this didn't happen before this year. I really don't. I don't. Well, okay. Like in the past, have I had annoying ones that like curl in my mouth every time I try to eat something? Yes, but I feel like it hasn't looked this like wild and been this untamed. When was the last time I had it cut or shaved? I don't know. Maybe that's why. I'll just go with it. I guess. Maybe I'll come on one day and. Oh my gosh. This is how much of the deck I have left. I said everything that comes out, the Hangman has led the charge with all these cards. And then like more cards came out. We're setting them all to the side. Maybe that's another magician over there. Well, let's look at that magician first. Or, maybe since this is the Hangman in reverse, with this, we can actually build out this magician. So we can see what this first responder energy like is. Its components. Okay, I'm gonna do two more. The Five of Pentacles came out in reverse. I'll keep it in reverse. Actually, I'll put it upright. This magician can preempt. Take it as it resonates if it resonates, and if it don't resonate, don't take it. My Mercury is in Pisces in my 12th house, retrograde. So my brain operates in metaphor. It's like the reason why this magician is so good at preempting things is because it exists or has access to the outside, right? Outside of outside of time space, maybe. I don't know. Um, there's something about it that's like outside of Earth. Then we have the Six of Swords upright. Then we have the King of Pentacles on its side, the Ten of Cups in reverse, the Knight of Pentacles on the same side as the King of Pentacles, the Hanged Man. Yeah, the Ten of Cups is in reverse, just like the Five of Pentacles. Maybe that's why I'm talking about constellations. Maybe this is like a mid key starseed energy. I need to stop. I'm sorry. It's like so far. It is like a what one. If someone resonates as being like a first responder, magician, whatever, your intuition, discernment, like leads, guides you to places you are tasked with, almost like stopping things before they start. It doesn't even have to. It could also be like Earth Angel energy because their family, again, like it's like they exist outside of Earth. It's like Five of Pentacles, but they exist outside, and that's where their family is, with the Ten of Pentacles being like family and stuff like that. And then with the Six of Swords, this Six of Swords is almost feeling like a kind of spidey sense. It's like this really, I would almost say like a really specialized intuition that helps somebody. It's either a really specialized intuition or a high intellectual capacity to like go. It's not, it's like probability. It's more like probabilities. Like if this, it's like dominoes. It's this chain of events, chain reaction. It's the effects upon effects upon effects of like a certain cause. It's like someone's able to see, like, if I make this choice, then this will happen, that'll happen, and all of these other things will happen with a relatively high degree of accuracy, which is why they're like really good at being like preemptive or being like this really good. It's like a response before the first response because, again, it doesn't wait for the emergency to happen to then react to it. It's proactive. But again, it's proactive in ways that something would have happened if they weren't there. It's not, it's more than just like a guess or luck. Next is the devil, the Knight of Cups, the Eight of Pentacles. I kind of want to do this so I can remember that these came out after this. The Tower, the Eight of Cups, Did I say Eight of Pentacles? That's the Six of Pentacles. The Eight of Swords. I'm running out of space. The Seven of Pentacles. What's interesting about this magician exists outside of this place. There's still no fire. And that's giving me the magician exists. Like, so the Tria Prima is the body, mind, and soul, right? The tria, we are body, mind, and soul. The body is earth, the mind is air, and the soul is fire. Where is the element of water? Those are the three materials, the tria prima, that consist us. Water is then elevated to this like etheric, ethereal, outside of our composition, but still very much so existent. Uh, it's elevated. It's an elevated element in that tria prima. With this magician, I keep seeing like earth, air, water, but there's no fire. So again, it's like this magician. I almost want to say it's like a different creation scheme, and not scheme as in a plot. I mean, I guess they are kind of similar, aren't they? Not a scheme as in a plot or a plan, but it kind of is a different method, because this isn't the earth, air, and fire that we're used to. The hangman, the devil, the tower, the three of pentacles, the ace of swords, the 10 of swords in reverse, the moon, one second, I'm trying to see if I'm going to bump these down. So right now, how I'm laying all of these out, it's a major with the elements. So every time a major comes out, it's like a new chapter. Now I'll put the hangman at the top of all of these. And now I'm like, well, should the hangman be below it? Because the moon is here. All of these cards and still no fire. I think I'll maybe not. Well, we saw the hangman at the bottom of the deck before. I'll just keep that in mind as I go. The moon. So we start a new chapter. Oh, finally, the Page of Wands. Okay. Goodness. There are 5 cards left. I am not going to look at them, even though I am intrigued. So, this is such an interesting way to like try to read something. I think I want to do this more. Anyway, so I already talked about the I don't have my phone. It was just 4004. 404, error not found. Um, I saw 808 today. Bob. I was looking, trying to watch Bob's Burgers. I didn't know if it was on like Netflix in the UK or something. It's not. I wish it was. Anyway, so even the hangman itself, I think because of that, I do have these in the right areas. I don't know. I do wanna move these. No, I'm not gonna move these because then I would have to remember how they came out and like the order they came out in and stuff like that. So I'm gonna leave it as it is. So under the hangman, which is again already a card, 4141 on the clock. Excuse me. The original way I was going to do this is similar to this. I was going to pull until I got all the elements. I wasn't sure how I was going to address the majors, but I knew that I didn't want to break them down into like elemental correspondences. And then I was going to count the number of cards and pull that number from the top of the deck to get a place associated with that magician. Maybe I'll do it anyway. So the magician that exists outside or that is from outside with its ability to play the sequence of cause and effect. With that 10 of cups, it is a family outside, but we also see parents and children. The King of Pentacles and the Knight of Pentacles came out, which is the father, excuse me, the father and the son of Pentacles. So it's like, again, this is like especially the hangman part of this is reading so star seedy or earth angely, um, where it's like used to things being done in a different way. And so there is almost an element of integrity um, that may be different. Um, and then the devil is here with the Six of Pentacles and the Knight of Cups. It's also interesting that the majors come out in the column of air. So I did it each element in different columns. And then again, when a major came out, it would be like a new section. So the only two cards that came out is the Six of Pentacles, well, the Knight of Cups, and then the Six of Pentacles that came out before the Tower. That is like the Knight of Cups is this desire to give or to do or to connect. But with the Six of Pentacles, it's like a measured, it's almost like a knowing that one isn't for everybody, right? And so, ooh, it connects where it feels it's appropriate and whatever appropriate means. Then under the Tower, we have the Eight of Cups, the Eight of Swords, the Ace of Swords, the Ten of Swords, the Seven of Pentacles, and the Three of Pentacles. And then under that is the Moon, and after the Moon is the Page of Wands. And the reason why I love these two together, the moon and the page of wands, is again, it's because there was so much like earth, air, water, major. It's like earth, air, water, major, earth, water, major, earth, air, water, major. And then after all of that, we get this. So again, this would be from a tria prima of earth, air, and sorry, they're like the cranes are moving, which is kind of like wild to see, especially this high up. And there's like these bright orange things just like raising in the sky as the cranes are lifting whatever they're lifting from, wherever they're lifting it from. Um, and it just like caught my eye because it was like orange and just like Kundalini rising energy. Orange is the color of the sacral. The sacral is the home of the serpent. Anyway, um, so yeah, it's the tria prima of earth, air, and water here. And so fire being the element of I need to stop looking outside. I'm getting distracted by like birds. Fire would be the like fire for this first responder magician would be akin to what water is for us, which is interesting because we have this like emotional, watery, we're all one heart type connection, or that's what we tend to go for, right? That it's the ethos. No, it's the pathos. The pathos. Sympathy, empathy. Ethos is ethics again. Um, but this would be like a soul connection rather than this like emotional, watery, more like empathic connection that we tend to go for and have. I guess like if earth were the element, then it would be like we are all of one body or something. Air is like a hive mind. We are all of one mind. We are all of like one heart, and that one heart beats in resonance, pulsates out with love. And again, we approach it oftentimes in a very, very watery way. But here with the moon, if this, they are all of one soul. Oh, fire in the fire station. LOL. Fire being the missing element. It's because this magician is so good at putting out fires, apparently. That there's no fire. Um, and again with the moon, both of the moons, like things are not necessarily as they seem, but also in the way of like how the moon can be a partial understanding of something. It's not the sun, it's not full clarity. Um, Depending on the environment and situation, the brain, the mind will take partial clarity as complete truth, especially like when the flight or flight, fight, freeze kicks in, right? So it almost feels like, and again, it goes to the Knight of Cups and the Six of Pentacles of this. That is very like, something about this first responder magician may always feel like it's never completely understood. Again, because it connects through a different elemental modality than water, it connects through fire. And so, but it feels like this energy is almost like here to learn the element of fire. Again, in a way that it can't necessarily learn it in its own scheme of creation. Like we can get to learn our minds, souls, and bodies through our own experience. We get to learn those things through our personal experience. But with the element of water, that's like, again, so it's like here to experience the element of fire. But the element of fire for us is related to the soul. So these would be like soul connections, right? Which again may explain why the Six of Pentacles is with that Knight of Cups. What is this? Maybe this resonates for somebody and I just don't know what. Or maybe we're just doing whatever. But I think that's what would also make this a really, it's almost like this preemptive first responder magician, again, like high key star seed energy from top to bottom, honestly. Um, but I could also see it being like Earth Angel type energy. Um, it's like they're really good at responding to things because of a certain mastery of it, a certain innate mastery of it that could almost be like, well, everyone where I come from can do this, right? If you take an elementary school education back 100, 200 years, that would be like, are you, that's when you really got to ask the question, are you smarter than a fifth grader, right? Because then there'd be like this child who is as brilliant as the leading minds at the time, pioneering like arithmetic and stuff. I mean, math is old, so maybe like a few thousand years, but you get the gist. Um, or it's like to a time where not a lot of people knew how to read and write because they had other things to preoccupy their time with while they were surviving and attempting to thrive, right? Reading and writing was a privilege. Um, for quite some time, I feel like, in my limited knowledge of the history on this planet, of the world, our world. But there is like I want to say a perky optimism. But perky, I feel like it's one of those words in my mind that, anyway. But there are still things for this energy to learn. It came out as a page. Now, we see the King of Pentacles and the Knight of Pentacles and Cups and the Ace of Swords. Those are the core cards and aces we have. And then this Page of Wands. There are no queens on the table, which is interesting. If the page is the daughter, then it's this like immature feminine energy, a growing feminine energy, which could be another reason why it's like the logic is so on point because it has so much masculine energy. And at least where we are, seemingly more collectively, a lot of cultures tend toward a sort of patriarchy or a patriarchal, masculine led um, model, especially as like companies and then countries try to adapt or are adapting or have adapted to more like Western models to be competitive in the global markets or whatever. Sometimes there are other things that shift as well. Anyway, so there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18 cards. 18 is the number of the moon. 18 cards. The moon is associated with Pisces. The hangman associated with water, with Neptune, with Pisces. So it's interesting that we kind of like start with the Piscean energy and we end with one. 18 in the Kabbalah is associated with life in the Jewish Kabbalah, I believe. According to, yeah, and I looked it up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. The city. Economic powerhouses. One second. Economic powerhouse, diverse opportunities. So the economic powerhouse of the city, again, is given that King of Pentacles, Knight of Pentacles energy that came out initially with the hangman. And then the diverse opportunities is again that energy of like, it's here to learn fire in a way that it can't because of where it comes from. Right. So, I mean, I guess here there are people, there are all kinds of paths. There are hive mind esque paths. There are one heart paths. There are one body paths. There are one soul paths. Um, where was I going with that? The diverse opportunities. And it's not that because, yeah, that's how things work here. Um, Water opposes earth, fire opposes air. I say that because the devil is here with the Six of Pentacles and the Knight of Cups. And that's giving me like opposition energy. So earth and water still oppose. So it's almost like then. Oh, that's what I was going to say. And the diverse opportunities. It's like because this magician is from a creation scheme or a belief system to an extreme of like one soul, there is no differentiation of one's own soul. And so it's almost like in coming to earth and being one's own person, this first responder magician would get to discover their own soul or like the quirks of their own particular soul outside of the one collective soul that it usually exists within. Right. It's similar to like, let's say there's a hive mind species that comes to Earth, and like we all have our own minds, and our own minds create our own realities, our own perceptions, and everything. But when they come to Earth, they're separate from that hive mind. And so their own mind develops separate from the hive mind. Now, you could say that, like, after the incarnation is over, they go back to where they're from, and the hive mind evolves because of what they personally experienced on Earth, like when they reconnect to the hive mind or whatever. What is this? What was this? I don't know. This isn't. I kind of feel like, honestly, whatever the reads have been for the past however long, especially here lately, I'm just like where I am. Have you ever been somewhere and you're just kind of like, I feel like I'm partially just like existing, right? Because I remember like last year, I feel like last year winter was feeling like spring. Like there was some kind of spring energy. Of like I know like the winter months are coming, but it's feeling like spring. It's feeling like right now to me feels like right now, but it doesn't necessarily feel like Thursday, November the 14th. It just feels like right now. And not necessarily in one of those like the only moment that exists is the now moment kind of ways. But again, I guess not necessarily not. I don't know. This year's been so interesting. I wonder what next year's going to bring. Like, because I was thinking again, I had the thought maybe a few months ago, like, I haven't really worked all year. And if like this year is the year of karma, if this year is the year of karma, then I guess my karma is telling me, like, girl, take a break. I haven't really worked all year, but I've been fortunate enough to be provided for throughout the year. So grateful for that. But also, it's given me the space to really consider what I want and make a meaningful, impactful next move. Um, so, yeah, interesting. I'm just curious if there's a queen. Strength, the Hierophant, the Six of Cups, Temperance, and the Queen of Pentacles. So the Queen of Pentacles is here. Oops, the Queen of Pentacles was the card after the Page of Wands. So the Page of Wands would have been looking to the Queen of Pentacles. Again, this is the only queen that's present, and the page is the daughter. The daughter and the mother are together, just like one of the sons was with their father. They're different elements. Um, which again, to me, it kind of just solidifies that, like, whoever, whatever this first responder magician is here for, they're here to like learn something that they couldn't where they were. Now, obviously, it could be like metaphoric. It could be a metaphor for someone who is maybe about to experience a whole new lot of everything, like meeting different kinds of people and expanding your own horizons beyond what you could have at home or where you were in the situations that you were in or whatever. Also, there's like more majors, temperance, the hierophant, strength, with the Six of Cups in there in between. Six of Cups, Six of Pentacles. Cool. I feel like that should be it. I kind of want to do one more, but it took so long to get this one. I'll do one more. Oh, so this was the first responder magician. I guess I will take a picture. I guess. And then I will be back. And because we still have the rest of the deck, right? Um, so I'm gonna frame this so I can take a picture, and then I'll just pull right off the top with where I left the cards because these are all the cards that fell out. So, is there a purpose or a reason behind this AFK screen when I could literally just like stop virtual camera and you can look at the OBS logo? Anyway, so I said all that to say, like, I don't know who. I'm just. Oh, my phone's all the way over here. I need to get some water. Necesito agua en my body. Necesito agua en my body. En mi cuerpo. Necesito agua en mi cuerpo. Technically, in mi boca. Oh, I gotta get the city in here. Ooh, I didn't hit the lamp. Cool. That's Cats Don't Dance. I got rhythm. I should watch that movie. All right. All righty then. I want to do this. Ooh. Cool. That's why I want to do that. And then I'll just put these face down. Sure. But I want to put them in order. So I'm going to do this. There we go. All right. So that was the first responder magician. What are you doing? I don't know. Just I wanted to build a magician today, and this is this is where it led me. I'm actually gonna take this out, do like that, do like this, do like that. So it'll be interesting. We'll just see. We'll see what comes out. So as soon as I get all four elements, it's over. And I'm going to build it much like I did the last one. So a major arcana is going to be like a new chapter, a new layer. I think that one was earth heavy, followed by air, and then water. So we're starting with the Five of Swords, the Nine of Wands. So we already got fire. The Empress. The Ace of Wands. The Seven of Swords. More air and fire. The Five of Cups. Air, fire, water. So earth is going to be the Chariot. Let's see how long until we find some earth. Dreamland. The Page of Swords. The High Priestess. The Four of Wands. This time the majors are in the line of fire. So if the majors are the line of fire, then that means even because this isn't earth, air, fire. So maybe not. Never mind. I'll take it back. I mean, it would make sense, but it would, but it wouldn't. For where we are, it would make sense for the major arcana to line up with the soul. But again, if we're dealing with a not necessarily standard whatever, then it's not necessarily true. Oh, crap. No, 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 no. Yes. Okay. There we go. Just trying to make room. The Hermit. The Two of Wands. Oh my gosh. Can I get some? Can I get some earth, please? What's up with these magicians being so? I mean, I get like if we're building magicians, I'm not surprised that it may take like a little bit of work, that all the elements don't necessarily come out at once. I should have probably built this like this way instead of the table is like longer. The table is wider than it is long. I'm working with the shortest dimension, trying to get all these elements on the table. Next is the King of Swords. And then the Page of Pentacles. Whoop, 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 whoop. The Page of Pentacles coming up under the Hermit. So this is predominantly fire and air. There's only one water card that came out and all of that. And then the last element was earth. And again, we end with the page, which is interesting. It came out that way. Am I going to get the place first? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. The Cemetary. We saw the Cemetary at the bottom of the deck earlier, did we not? Did we not? The Cemetary, memories laid to rest, legacies preserved. The majors here are the Empress, the Chariot, the High Priestess, and the Hermit. And the Dreamland. I forgot about the Dreamland. Five of Swords and Nine of Wands. The Nine of Wands in the Witch's Tarot is the Queen of Wands before she became the Queen, or the Queen of Wands in plain clothes. And I'm trying to think of who the Queen of Wands would be. Next in line to in the majors. I wouldn't call the Queen of Wands pre-Hanged Man energy, but she does like march to the beat of her own drum, and she gives no Fs. Which could also be like strength, temperance. Anyway, it doesn't matter. The Five of Swords and the Nine of Wands, and then the Empress. This is again, it's predominantly air and fire. We have the Five of Swords, Seven of Swords, Page of Swords, and King of Swords. Nine of Wands, Four of Wands, Two of Wands, Ace of Wands, the Five of Cups, and the Page of Pentacles. There's also This one's like admittedly harder to read because it almost seems that this is almost like a two element because there's only one water card and one earth card. It feels like an energy that's the seven of swords and the ace of wands creates water, but the king of swords and the two of wands creates like earth. So it's almost like this two element system, and if they align, it's one thing. If they don't, it's another. But the alignment isn't what we would necessarily think of alignment as. It's almost like the polarity. It is a two element system because the five of swords and the nine of wands creates the empress, or it is the first whatever, right? So, oops, excuse me. That's why it's almost like a polarity because you could say the five of swords is like the victimizer, and the nine of wands could be the victim. I don't know, but also too, I don't know. I'm kind of stumped. I feel like this doesn't. I feel like where's my like title card, or maybe I should just like break it down, right? Honestly, what's it's because this empress is on her side. She's not upright and she's not in reverse. The other cards in the same configuration as the empress, she's literally the only card on the table in that configuration. The other ones are either, and then there's only one card that's in reverse. The one card that's in reverse is the page of swords. The card that's like facing to the right is the Empress. The ones that face to the left, it's the Dreamland, the Four of Wands, the Two of Wands, and the Page of Pentacles, and then the rest of the cards are upright. I almost feel like it would be easier to arrange it that way, but I want to take a picture first because I want to remember these like as they came out, just in case I have to reference it. You know what I mean? That's hopefully good enough. So I'm trying to like, so it's up and then it's right and then it's left and then it's down. Up, right, left, down. Okay. Oops. Cool. Maybe this will help me see it more easily. Okay. So right off the bat, the Dreamland and the Empress are opposing each other, which means it's almost this energy of like what someone is birthing is not necessarily what they want to be creating. The dream is the Four of Wands, the Two of Wands, and the Page of Pentacles. But it's not giving birth to anything. Again, the Empress was the only card in her configuration. What's upright is the Five of Swords and the Nine of Wands, which is this this victim victimizer, almost like dynamic. And then there's the Seven of Swords that was with the Ace of Wands that created the Five of Cups. The Seven of Swords, and it's like the energy of it like stealing or whatever. It's different than the almost like raw creativity of the Ace of Wands, which leads to this Five of Cups, almost like these Five of Cups wasted efforts. And then we have the Chariot, the High Priestess, the Hermit, and the King of Swords. Now I separated these by which direction they're facing. So, for example, this is the top row. I separated them by which direction they were facing when they came out. You can see the Dreamland is like the Empress and the Dreamland are opposing each other. The Five of Swords and the Page of Swords are opposing each other. But I laid these out how they came out. So, like the first, second, third card that was upright or on one side or the other side, right? Three of the last four upright cards are major arcana cards, and the last card is the King of Swords. Memories laid to rest, legacies preserved. This is the Magician of the Cemetary. This is almost like a magician. This magician is like it's associated with almost like regret, victimization, and like loss. It's almost like for some reason it's almost giving like Coco. Like how in the underworld, like you find out the truth, like the real tea. Um, and even with the chariot here, like this Five of Cups and chariot, um, the chariot is this bond or this connection between two. So there's a bond formed between the victim and the victimizer, a bond formed between the creative and the thief of that creation. There's like a tie. So this is something that's like if the first magician was an energy that felt like it was like star seed angel energy type, this would be one that's associated with like karma and karmic ties and connections. It gives birth to nothing, and all that it once remains a dream. Also, the main character, every character that is upright is facing either to the left or forward, except for the Seven of Swords. And the Seven of Swords is looking in the same direction as the Page of Swords in reverse. If the Page of Swords were upright, it would be looking in the same direction as all of these other cards. The Page of Swords in reverse is looking in an opposite direction that the Five of Swords is. And it's like another hangman type energy because it's upside down. So the Seven of Swords, yes, it has its tie to this, almost like shifts the tie though. It morphs the tie between the Seven of Swords and the Ace of Wands. What Page of Swords was in reverse? The Seven of Swords is like attempting to get out of this victimizer, this whole like it's attempting to sever. It's like breaking karmic contracts. That's what it feels like it's trying to do with this, and like line up with this Page of Swords in reverse. Now, the Seven of Swords is looking over with how that came out. The Seven of Swords was the third card that came out face up. The third card that came out with the text on the right is the Two of Wands, and the Two of Wands is looking down at the Page of Pentacles. So there is this, and both the Seven of Swords and the Page of Pentacles have these yellow skies. Also, the Four of Wands has this yellow sky, and the Chariot has a yellow sky. I guess the Empress does too. So it's like this. The Seven of Swords is looking over at the Two of Wands. The Two of Wands is looking down at the Page of Pentacles. They're like facing each other. I think I want to pull these out and have this be its own little like Tetris block. The Seven of Swords, the Ace of Wands, and the Five of Cups could also be in energy, because again, the Seven of Swords is facing the same direction as the Page of Swords. Even though the Page of Pentacles and Dreamland are both, well, I guess the Dreamland is kind of just like facing forward, but it looks like she's looking up. Like they're both sort of like looking up. That's what it looks like to me. So I kind of want to move these up. It's almost like it's again the water, I mean the fire. It was predominantly fire and air. But the fire and air aren't on the same page. Sorry. I think I get all of these. I'm pretty sure I got all of them. But then there'll be like one that was still braided or twisted that I'll find in like a few days. Now I'm tempted to just like move these up and try to pull more blocks out. Um, Technically, in the direction of that, the Five of Swords, the Nine of Wands, the Five of Cups, and the Hermit are all facing. So I'm within this column. I'm going to keep them all in the same column, but I'm going to shift to the left, the ones that are looking left, and I'm going to shift to the right, the ones that are facing forward. The Five of Swords, the Nine of Wands, the Five of Cups, and the Hermit are all looking in the direction of the first responder magician. The Page of Swords is looking off into the distance. There's nothing to catch the eye of the Page of Swords. Again, like the Two of Wands was there for the Seven of Swords to look at, and the Seven of Swords was looking at the Page of Pentacles that was looking at, or the Seven of Swords was looking at the Two of Wands that was also looking at the Seven of Swords was looking at the Two of Wands, who was looking at the Page of Pentacles, who was looking at the Two of Wands. The Seven of Swords was observing this dynamic between the Two of Wands and the Page of Pentacles and almost trying to reciprocate it in its own lane. But for some reason, the air and the fire can't get on the same page again, which is why the Empress is the only card in her column. Nothing is born of this. And that's why the Four of Wands remains a dream, because it can't get on the same page. So it feels like, again, there's this like, it's this, the ones that are looking left are facing the first responder magician. The first responder magician was inherently different. There's like so much fire here. The first responder magician had like no fire until the very end, and it was the Page of Wands. The first responder magician is looking to this magician to learn something of fire, but it feels like it struggles to, because the element of fire is, and like fire is supposed to, fire and air, it depends on which gas you look at, I guess, because fire consumes oxygen and puts out CO2, so it suffocates from a certain vantage point and viewpoint. But fire and air are supposed to be like compatible elements. They're supposed to feed off of each other, but here they don't. The soul and the mind are supposed to feed off of each other, but so often for this magician, the magician of the cemetery, um, they don't work together. The mind works against the soul, and in turn the soul works against the mind, which creates these like Five of Cups, this almost source of constant grief, but also it permanently infantilizes this Page of Pentacles. It's like this Page of Pentacles is never able to grow or mature, plant its seed, whatever, because the mind and the soul aren't hardly ever on the same page, which is interesting. Because again, if we look at, so the Five of Swords would be the victimizer, the bully, and it bullies the soul. The mind does. Now, the soul will like never break, but it's like it's all like beat up, right? Because the mind is like whatever. And then the mind attempts to like steal from the soul or take from the soul. And it doesn't, it's almost like it doesn't give any appreciation or something. Like it takes. And in some ways, it's almost like, well, that's what the soul exists for. There are these like soul retrievals and these parts of the soul that exist to do whatever the mind wants or says. I feel like this magician is the magician of the cemetery because like nothing grows. There's only like death and karma and regret and victims and stuff like that. We have the Ace of Wands, the Chariot, the High Priestess, and the King of Swords. We saw the King of Swords as knowledgeable, extremely knowledgeable, but not very wise. And that is, it's almost like mirrored and echoed here. The King of Swords is so knowledgeable that it's like it knows where to go to get what it wants. But if the King of Swords were wise, like he wouldn't just take, especially forcefully or under false pretense with the Seven of Swords. If the King of Swords were wise, he would reconcile these two elements. He would resolve this to get what he truly dreams of. It's like a womb that can bear no seed. It's a womb that can't carry a seed because it's a body that doesn't nourish it. So it's capable of conception, but without the body to nourish it, the seed becomes inviable. Wow. So I guess this is its own Tetris piece. I don't know how I'm going to do this. Guess I could do it like this. This is its own Tetris piece of like, because it's just like this T shape that's off to the side of this long chain. Now, if these, I don't think you can rotate this. Oh, you can. So you can rotate this in a way where they cancel out. And it would be the square would be the Dreamland, the Page of Swords, the Four of Wands, and the Page of Pentacles. It would look like this. This would be the square that like cancels out, even though it would have to be a whole line. Yes. There we go. And then what would be left is in this configuration with a gap in between them, the Empress, the Seven of Swords and the Page and the Two of Wands. The Two of Wands would be looking towards the Empress. Anyway. Because I was like, would these pieces even whatever? And at first I was like, no, they won't, but they can. This was facing this. Cool. That turns the Page of Pentacles upright. That would turn the Page of Pentacles upright. The Two of Wands upright and the Seven of Swords on its side. Yeah, the Seven of Swords was. I feel like that's interesting. I didn't catch it until now. The Seven of Swords is looking at the Two of Wands. I don't know what this video is. I'm gonna put like IDK. Building magicians with the one face that's like. I'm curious what the Seven of Swords, the Ace of Wands, and the Five of Cups. So with the earth being the last element, again, like both earth and water, there was only one card. It wasn't like the last one where there was like a pretty much a balance and several chapters. The chapter that brought out the water was after the Empress. And it was the Five of Cups because I'm trying to like also like not be super triggery when it comes to this Empress. Because I personally, I mean, I don't have to personally know people to know that people are affected by things, but I do have actually, I know a few people that were struggling to um, build families that ended up um, having children, but the loss and the grief is still there. Anyway, um, and then the Hermit brought out the Page of Pentacles. This is a very the King of Swords is coming out lately as like really playing on that, like very knowledgeable, but not the wisest. Right. So now I'm just left with this super long chain. Well, there's two cards, the Five of Swords and the Nine of Wands, and then the Ace of Wands, the Five of Cups, the Chariot, the High Priestess, the Hermit, the King of Swords. So the Five of Swords and the Nine of Wands are both looking at the fire station specifically. The Five of Cups is looking at the city. The Hermit faces the cemetery. Now, the Ace of Wands is kind of sort of being presented to the Magician. This is how the cards are sitting on the table right now. That's how they're sitting on the table right now. So the Five of Swords and the Nine of Wands looking toward the city. The Ace of Wands is almost being presented to the Magician. The Five of Cups looking at the city, and then the Hermit is down there with the Cemetary. And then the other cards are facing forward. Because the Ace of Wands is being presented to the Magician, and this Magician is holding it up. Again, it's like there are certain things when a soul is at peace, or at the very least, like not being robbed and attacked. It's like there are things that naturally come up. I don't know. I'm like, this is so difficult, honestly. And it required to get this far, it's required so much of like shifting of perspectives and finagling with the cards and like feeling like I'm supposed to move things this way to find the message, and then like trying to Tetris this out. Now, let's see. We can do that too. Oh, okay. Okay. All right. So we're canceling squares, right? So the way I flipped it, I had to flip this one, two, three times to get that page of Pentacles upright to make the square that I showed you earlier. But if I flip the Dreamland, the one with the Dreamland at its heart, once in that same counterclockwise direction, it forms this 2x3 rectangle, and we're left with the Empress upright. I'll take a picture to show you, I guess, because that's what I do now, since I don't have a table facing camera. Wow, I'm gonna have to lock the orientation. That did not. Let me rotate this real quick. Let me rotate. There you go. Save. So that when I do this, now there's this 2x3 square that's formed with the Empress upright. All of this over here, I don't know what to do with. Honestly, um, with the High Priestess being under the Chariot, again, the Chariot was almost serving as the source of karmic connection. It's what ties the victim to the victimizer. It ties the thief to the creative. And it's not necessarily like driving them anywhere. It's just like the Chariot is the axle that sits sort of like just on this. It's the center point on that polarity. And right under it is the High Priestess. Because the High Priestess is there, I don't know if it'll necessarily ever be seen. Like, never say never. I don't know if it's necessarily easily seen. Because again, the High Priestess speaks from the seat of the soul. And then it's like parsed through and filtered through to the water. The only water here is the Five of Cups. And with all of this hermit exploration, it only finds the cemetery. Again, it was that like the King of Swords becomes like really, I don't want to say really good at exploiting, but it's the boss, it's the company, it's the environment that doesn't welcome creative input. Even if it says it does, it doesn't really. It may say that it welcomes creative input, but it doesn't create an environment where people feel comfortable. Hey, how you doing today, Rose? And so because of that, almost what was that? It was the Queen of Cups in reverse, I think earlier. It's like because of that, with all of this hermit exploration or whatever, it ends up in the cemetery. Or it only fuels this like it takes. We can take from ourselves and give ourselves nothing in return. So I can do this. But these are never going to look over here, so it doesn't matter. They're always going to be looking over to the left. And it's interesting because in the Five of Cups, again, facing that same direction, never seeing the two cups that stands behind it. And even the moon that's given the side eye, it's a bridge, but the moon that's given a side eye, it's in the same direction. So again, it's that hermit, like not even the intuition can pick up on these things because the self is so unaligned. The Five of Cups and the Hermit would be the last two cards out, Scorpio and Virgo, which are the cleaners of the zodiac. Oof. So in this, now the Page of Swords is looking at the Seven of Swords, is looking at the Two of Wands, is looking at the Page of Pentacles. Even when we got the Empress upright, there's nothing that the Dreamland is looking to. If I do it this way, the Page of Swords is left out, and I think these are the only two ways. Yeah. I don't know. I feel like I've done so much finagling. And again, it's like it's all this control and manipulation and stuff. But it's not the threads that need to connect to make things be as desired or desirable. They're not connecting. Air looks at air, looks at earth, looks at, or air looks at air, looks at fire, looks at earth. Is there any way for the air and the fire to see eye to eye? Oh, this is the same. Hold up, wait. Yeah, I just took the square instead of taking the rectangle. Not today. I'm trying to make magicians today, but yeah. Excuse me, not today. Excuse me. The earth and the fire. Let's see. How many more cards do we have to pull to get another earth element? Two of Cups, Ace of Cups, Eight of Pentacles. So that's three more cards, taking us from 15 to 18. The same number that, oh, we get more water too. Um, cool. What was lacking, we get more of. Two of Cups, Ace of Cups. And these are on the side. These are like fringe elements because the main two lines were air and fire. So that was 15, 16, 17, 18. The mountains, nature's monuments, enduring challenges. Well, the mountains are high, like skyscrapers in the city, right? Oh, okay. So these are the two cups that the Five of Cups is not facing. But with the Two of Cups, it's like they do their own thing. The Two of Cups was upright, so that would come out under the King of Swords. The Ace of Cups is facing the Ace of Cups and the Eight of Pentacles again are facing the same way that Dreamland, it was Dreamland, the Four of Wands, the Two of Wands, and the Page of Pentacles. Yeah, I gotta change these back. The Ace of Cups and the Eight of Pentacles came out there. Again, nothing under this Empress. Still, nothing is born of this. Maybe I just gotta try to stop forcing it. But maybe it doesn't matter, right? Because the King of Swords is knowledgeable. The King of Swords can force some things out of the element of fire. And maybe it's not everything, but it's better than nothing, right? Maybe there are degrees to magician energies. I mean, sure. Why wouldn't there be? The degrees to magician energy being like the access to elements, right? Earth, air, water, and fire. So let's say like we're a pro at air and very decent at fire, but our experience with water and earth aren't the greatest. We could be masterful in things that require predominantly earth or predominantly air, fire, and not a lot of earth or water. But when it comes to things that are more like earthy or watery, that's when the magician of the cemetery, um, just may not be the specialist that you want. Like if you want air and fire, go to the magician of the cemetery, I guess. Cool. So like almost an hour trying to make that work. It falls into the fold of the dreamland. Uh, I guess I could keep going. This is basically over. but I am going to keep going until I find an Earth card or anything. What is born of this? The Knight of Wands, the Page of Cups, the Knight of Swords, the Five of Wands, most of these upright, the Four of Swords, Death, Three of Swords, Seven of Cups, Two of Pentacles, the Sun, Queen of Swords, Justice, the Fool, Nine of Swords, the Star, the Eight of Wands, the Four of Cups, the Emperor. Again, I'm going until I find a card that's the same, that's facing the same way as the Empress to see what she bears. The Nine of Cups, the Six of Wands, the Nine of Pentacles, Seven of Wands, the Lover, Two of Swords. This is what the Empress bears, the Two of Swords. 3, 2, 1. There's a lot of cards that are upright. Knight of Wands, Page of Cups, Five of Wands, Four of Swords, Death, Three of Swords, Seven of Cups, the Sun, the Queen of Swords, Justice, the Fool, the Four of Cups, the Emperor, the Nine of Cups, the Six of Wands, Nine of Pentacles, the Seven of Wands, and the Lover are all upright. So eventually, whatever this is between the air and the fire will be resolved. And when that is resolved, then the mind will give birth to something. No problem. The mind will give birth to something that I want to say, I almost want to say can't be seen. The mind will give birth to the thing that it can't conceive of. Again, because of the King of Swords. This is a King of Swords that can't father. This is a King of Swords that can't fertilize any seed that it can't conceive of. That's why the mind and the soul are always at odds. Because again, the soul will provide with this Ace of Wands, but the mind will constantly work against it. Or the mind will constantly shape according to other figures and forms what is provided. And so after all of this, then the Empress will give birth again to the thing that the mind would have never been able to conceive of. It's outside the purview of the King of Swords. Very knowledgeable, but not wise. And again, like it would be wise to put these on the same page, and then it would have gotten this like a long time ago. So, oof. Cool. I mean, That's a lot of cards. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. 1, 2, 3, 4. 24 cards later. 18 plus 24 is 42, which is death. So an ego death in a way. 18 plus 24 is 42. Imagine that. So we got to go 24 more to finally to where this magician will end up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 1, 2, 3, 4. The Office. Area of productivity, goals to be achieved. Oh, well, to be productive. It's like now it took 24 cards to overcome this challenge. Now something can actually be productive. And again, it can be productive now because the mind isn't either fighting against what the soul is saying or the mind isn't trying to like capitalize off of the soul in some way. It's not trying to take or to bully. How many cards do we have left? Not many. What's this productivity like? The Wheel of Fortune, the World, and the Ten of Wands. The World, nope. The Ten of Wands, no, no. Still nothing facing the Empress and the Two of Swords. The Wheel of Fortune, the World, and the Ten of Wands. It's almost like. So the Wheel of Fortune, we saw the Wheel of Fortune with Temperance earlier. Something that tips the scales. So when the Magician of the Cemetery works its way to a productivity, when its own Wheel of Fortune starts to spin or move in a direction that's different, it feels like it wants to share some of this process because it understands that there are others in like a similar way. But that Ten of Wands is like, it's a knowing that it won't be easy because it wasn't easy. Again, because of how knowledgeable that King of Swords is. It's hard to convince someone of something that already knows everything, especially something that either they don't want to admit that they don't know or that they're already fixed in their knowing about. So, oh, I don't know. If it's an environment where it's encouraged, then I don't know. I think it kind of depends on your relationship with people too, where it may be like easier to uh, float that idea first. If you're like nervous about sharing it, then go to someone who will. Like I was in a webinar and they were talking about like networking and stuff. And a piece of advice that someone gave for introverts was to start by like essentially networking with people that you know you'll get a response from and like a favorable response from, right? To get you trained on acceptance before the harsh pain of rejection or something like that. Or to just, get comfortable with the networking. Whew. Okay. Am I going to take a picture of all of this? Sure, I will. No. Nah. I'll just, maybe. Darn it. Because I'm going to get final cards. Oh, wait. Point 0.5. I forget about the 0.5 time zone. I don't have to, anyway. This is a lot of cards. There you go. Those are all the cards on the table. That's how long it took. See ya. That's how long it took for this to work around to productivity. But we all have our own journeys, and it's because this magician of the cemetery goes through what it goes through that it's able to understand what it understands, that it will then subsequently be able to help others who are of a similar way or of a similar nature also get to where they want to get to the point where what they dream of or wish or desire is more than just a dream, and where they can give birth to the things that they wouldn't have even been able to conceive of because it exists outside of so much of their knowing. If that's something that they choose to do, right? If they're like, I want to, like, this is my purpose to turn all the lessons that I've learned into whatever to help others. I think with that 10 of Wands too, there is an energy of like helping to lighten someone else's load or burden. Ace of Swords and the 5 of Wands. Cool. Let's see. We'll get a final one of these first. And then we'll get a place and then a thing. And then it is lunchtime. It is lunchtime. I'm venturing out for lunch today. So it'll be the first time I've left this building in several days. Which honestly, I'm mostly okay with. Ooh, the title card in the casino. High stakes, high rewards. Thrills in every corner. Interesting. Unknown stakes, unknown rewards. Or it's almost like a lottery, right? You don't know what the reward is, and you don't know what the stakes are because you don't know how likely it is that you'll get a reward that you like versus getting something that you don't want. So let's see. Final place. Final place. Final place. Final place. Clean flips, clean falls. Preferably 2 or less. Also, preferably on the table. A clean flip and a clean fall. Just sticking out isn't enough. Like that. You see that? Not enough. Clean flip. Oh, okay. There we go. That was the cleanest flip. 3 cards. It's fine. Ooh, we get another new one. Living room, heart of the home, comfort and relaxation. Let's look at this. room. There's a clock on the wall. The sun's coming in through the right side. If the right is the east, then this is early morning. There's a cat on the couch. There's food on the table, but no person. Like there's a bowl on the table and a glass or a bottle, something, but I don't know. It ain't feeling like a bowl of cat food. You see that on the table? Rainforest, tropical ecosystem, life thrives. Comfort and relaxation, life thrives. Peaceful farmland, horizons widened. Love that. Comfort, relaxation, thriving life, and peaceful farmland. See, that peaceful farmland is the energy of like when the soul just like naturally provides, you know? Bottom of the deck is the cemetery. Memories laid to rest, legacies preserved. This memory is laid to rest. So it's like after the certain threshold is reached, after the, oops, who was that? After the comfort and relaxation. Oh, it's arcade. Press play. Virtual worlds connected. And then like there's the fun. Press play from comfort, relaxation, peace, widened horizons, and thriving. I feel like this is a piece. There's a piece in this countryside that almost goes beyond um, any other piece that one may have felt, or it's deeper because of the horizons that are widened at the same time. And then everything else is like put to rest. May it rest in peace. It was a past life. I remember like I was at Purdue for a while and I did so many different things. I was so many different people, so many different iterations of me. I like by the end, I was like, oh, like I was an RA in a past life, or I used to do this in a past life because I was there for long enough. It felt like it, honestly. I went from like on campus to off campus in apartments, back to on campus, various levels of engagement, you know, Five of Pentacles, Ace of Swords. All right, all right, all right, all right. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Final card, clean flip or clean fall, please. And oh, we'll timestamp this, I guess. I kind of like grabbed the cards weird, and these cards just flew out. Clean fall in reverse, love it. Queen of Wands and the Ace of Wands, but they're opposing each other. Interesting. Bottom of the deck is the Six of Swords. The message of the last time we saw the Queen of Wands kind of comes through here. The Queen of Wands has gotten comfortable with her maybe less than desirable side. Anything that anyone could possibly shame the Queen of Wands for, she is comfortable with herself. She has no shame. She's not going to accept the shame or the guilt or anything that other people project onto her because she knows who she is. That's the her like integrating, loving herself fully, completely, including her shadowy egoic side. But and it's something that's almost like the Queen of Swords in reverse. That is almost a sort of like bitter harshness, but it's a bitter harshness that is the result of one's very much so real lived experience. Like this Ace of Wands is, or maybe it's not for her, right? Because this could also be like the Queen of Wands is standing in her power, right? And there's some external Ace of Wands energy that wants to come in, and it's like, oh, like if you want to do this, then you should be like that. Or if you want to do that, you should be like this. Or like, oh my gosh, you're perfect for this thing. Let's say she's a creative. She has established her own creative identity. Oh my gosh, you would be perfect for this thing or this script that you wrote. Like, we want to pick it up. This idea that you have, we want to pick it up. We want to syndicate this TV show or whatever. And she's like, oh my gosh, yes. Like, as long as I retain some creative control. And they're like, oh yeah. And then, like, you get in there and they're trying to change, like, everything. And she's like, you know what? Actually, I have so much faith in my creative vision and so much faith in what I create that I'm gonna take it elsewhere. And so she moves on. And then, I mean, it's in reverse, but the Ten of Cups is here. Ten of Cups in reverse and the Devil upright. Ooh, don't fall for it. And then the Queen of Swords is in reverse. Okay. So that could have been the thing in the past. Right. Like, people go to the Queen of Wands because she is the Queen of Wands. It's that energy of like a person that everyone is attracted to, but then when people get around that person, they want to change that person because they feel however they feel, right? It's like there's this beautiful low hanging fruit. There's this beautiful woman that all of the women loving people desire, right? There's someone who comes off like upon first impression, they're like, spitting game or whatever, putting on their best foot forward, putting their best foot forward, gets the attention of the Queen of Wands. She's like, oh my gosh, like. But then after they're together, it quickly becomes this whole like now the other person is trying to make the Queen of Wands less of who she is because it intimidates them or whatever. And it's like, well, that's the reason, the same reason why that person was drawn to the Queen of Wands in the first place. They become intimidated by and try to chip away at the Queen of Wands so that they can be comfortable in that dynamic. Right. And she's like, no, I know my worth and I know I'm not perfect, but I know I'm too good for this. Right. And so she moves on. Maybe that's been the case for a while. And so she's grown distrusting of certain things. But it's just like, because, and I say that because the Queen of Swords is in reverse under that devil energy. Um, and again, the Queen of Swords in reverse is more so the bitter one. Uh, and again, she's bitter for real reasons. But when she comes out in reverse, to me, she's in reverse because she doesn't like need to be that. Something is different. This is not the same type of scout agent person that there was before. This is one that is drawn to the light of the Queen of Wands and like wants to build upon it or showcase it or shine beside her or with her. Another star in the constellation rather than a planet in the solar system or whatever. Cool. I think too, though, in that were probably there are things that the Queen of Wands like very much so wants and desires. But again, maybe she hasn't had the best experience with other people, sort of like in fulfilling those things. And so maybe too, she grows distrustful of her own, not distrustful of herself. It's just like she grows too comfortable in the feeling or knowing that like no one is going to like be on her level or whatever. And it's like there most certainly and assuredly are. King of Cups. Oh, well then yeah. I feel like the King of Cups would be the one that's like, oh my gosh, like you're too much. You're too okay. Now when it comes to Scorpio, absolutely not. But the King of Cups, like may trying to like douse that fire a little bit, or that may just be the dynamic that um again it's mostly based on the perceptions of this Queen of Wands. Like the Queen of Wands thinks that the King of Cups would think that she's too much. The Queen of Wands thinks that this King of Cups will try to like douse her flame or whatever. But the King of Cups, in a lot of ways, is a compliment to the Queen of Wands. I mean, this is Aries Scorpio, Mars, planet of action, and other stuff. So, yeah, anyway. Yeah, so be open and stay I want to say like stay discerning and stay intuitive. It may be um, it may be a pattern that someone recognizes more so than their intuition or discernment saying something, more so than a person actually being something. Like I watched Nobody Wants This recently. And at one point, there was like this ick. And she was like, once you get the ick, you never come back from the ick. But she came back from the ick. And it happens sometimes. Sometimes icks become icks for a reason. Well, I feel like a lot of, well, probably for most people, most icks become icks for a reason. Um, but it's like something is different. Something has changed as it's moving forward. So, and again, the cemetery, yeah, it's perfect. The cemetery was at the bottom of the deck. Something has passed away. Now it's a time of comfort, relaxation, thriving, peace, and all of this other stuff. But we have to press play. We have to participate. We have to join in, right? At the same time. So, anyway, thank you, Rose Aurora, for stopping by. I hope you all have an amazing whenever you see this. I hope you're acting in alignment to make all that you wish to experience your reality. Whatever you need along your path, journey in the way, I hope you find. And until next time, I am gonna go and get some lunch.